Absolutely. Passion's the right word. I used to say that ARP was run on passion and duct tape. That if it wasn't for the absolute love that our team has for both solar and for Gary, it was a really challenging moment in time. And what it was really doing is it was really forcing people to do 120% of their job. And an
Mm,
interesting thing happens when you've got folks doing 120% of their job is they're dropping things because it's not physically possible to do that. And yet you're creating this environment of resentment because you really are going above and beyond in what you're doing. And yet we're seeing negative outcomes coming from it. There was a conversation, we were doing a post-mortem on a negative customer interaction that we had. We had a problem arise out on a project site, and we got done kind of working through the moment. And I paused in that and I said, okay, so curious question here. What are we going to do in the future to prevent this from happening again? And somebody dismissed it just as quick as they could and said, oh, John, we do not have time for that. We need to move on to the next thing. And that's terrifying to me because all I know is that we're about to run into the same problem again. Maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's 2 months, maybe it's another year down the road. But if we don't have the capacity and the structure to be able to identify these friction points for our customers, all we're going to do is go through these pain points over and over again. And so that was a lot of the impetus to really take a step back, look at our process. Conveyor belt of operations is a term that gets used a lot at Scoop, and it's one of my favorite terms. Looking at those inputs, what we're going to ask the associate to turn that input into, and then what the expectation of that output is, and then creating an environment where they can be successful in going through that process and creating those outputs.